Hi, today we're going to be reading a little bit more about chromatography. While this presentation looks like a PowerPoint that you may take notes on, I just want to emphasize that you are not taking notes on this presentation. It's actually an article, and I just took the pieces that I wanted you guys to focus on to kind of minimize the amount that you were working. So we're going to go ahead and walk through the article. I'm not going to go through slide by slide, simply just going to highlight some of the things I want you guys to pay attention to. So yesterday was about chromatography, and we talked about chromatography being a separation technique. Now today we're going to go through some of those chemical or those physical properties that go with that. So on this slide, I do want you guys to really focus on what the definition of chromatography is. So as you're going through, really understand what chromatography is and what it can be used for. So those are the two things I want you guys to focus on this slide. What is chromatography? What can you use it for? On this slide, I want you guys to know what the four types of chromatography are. Simple definitions will be enough. We, in our class, are going to be focusing on paper chromatography. So for your test, paper chromatography is going to be the one you will need to know how to calculate as well as define. And as far as the other four or the other three, you will just have them on multiple choice. So quick little note there. If you want to add these to your existing notes, that EQ5, that would be a good idea. It'll make your test a little easier when you go to take that. For this slide, I want you guys to focus on the differences between a mixture and a compound. So compare and contrast mixture to compound. As long as you understand that, you are ready to move on to the next slide. For this one, we're going to be looking at the parts of a solution. Now, in terms of chromatography, this is important for us because we are separating solutions. So when we talk about solutions, we want to talk about what the solute is. One little tip that I remember for what's the difference between a solute and a solvent is I say, what did a ute add into the solute? So the solute is what you add into the solution, and the solvent is what does the dissolving. So if you were going to be making lemonade, your lemonade is going to be your lemon juice, or your sugar. Those are going to be your solutes, and the water is going to be the solvent because you added the sugar. So again, you want to know solute and solvent, the parts of a solution. And then also please remember what does it mean to be insoluble. Maybe think of a solution at your house. You may be asked to do this at the end of the week, by the way. And then what is soluble? So once you get to page 118 of your interactive notebook, you're going to be using those 4 slides from the article. This article is located on ScienceSpot by Trimpe. So you're going to be using your 4 slides to answer or define 6 words. Your 6 words are going to be mixture, compound, solution, solute, solvent, solubility. That means you're going to have 6 of these DDEE graphic organizers on page 118. So if you could set that up with 3 on one side and 3 on the other, that would be good. You are going to define the word here. You're going to take your definition straight from the PowerPoint or the article. Excuse me, it's not a PowerPoint. You are then going to explain it in your own words. So on this one, this is where you're going to break it down and simplify it. You can use kind of funny things like I said, you add the sugar or something like that. You're going to describe this. So you're going to describe what it looks like, what are the parts, and you're going to provide some examples. So just to kind of show you, a definition is going to be straight from the PowerPoint, straight from the article, straight from whatever academic resource your teacher provides. The explanation is, I want you to think of it as a process. So when you're explaining it, explain it almost as if you were going to create one or if you were going to demonstrate a process. When we describe it, we're going to be using adjectives here. So what are we looking at? Possibly verbs. So adjectives and verbs, we might use words like saturated. So saturated would be something that's really sweet. If you're having Kool-Aid that's too sweet. Super saturated would be like a syrup. Okay, so we're using descriptive words here. We want to at least put 3. And then for your examples, again, we want to use 3 examples there. So sentence from your academic resource, Explanation is a process in your own words. Describe, we're going to be using adjectives, perhaps verbs. Examples, real life examples like soda, Kool-Aid, cookies, things like that. So that is on page 118. At the bottom of that, you're going to go ahead and answer this question. How is Kool-Aid an example of solubility? You will be using those words to demonstrate knowledge. And again, we will be coming back to this slide. So when you guys go to turn it in, I will be giving you guys some opportunities to go on Flipgrid later this week to explain that process to me. On page 108, you're going to be creating a T-shirt. Your T-shirt is going to bring chromatography and solubility together. So I want you guys to explain how solubility and chromatography go together. Now, chromatography separates what? So you want to kind of ask yourself, what is it separating? Go back to that vocabulary. Is it separating mixtures? Is it separating solutions? Things like that. And what happens if something is not soluble? So we'll go over that tomorrow when I show you guys a demo lab. For your T-shirt, you're going to have two parts of it. You're going to be drawing a front side of your T-shirt. You're going to be drawing the back side of your T-shirt. The front side of your T-shirt needs to have some type of artwork that clearly demonstrates the concept of either solubility and or chromatography. So I should understand that you understand both chromatography and solubility in your artwork. You might want to include the equation for chromatography on your front of your T-shirt. Your word bank. So you want to include your word bank somewhere in there. Now, including the word bank doesn't necessarily mean you have to define the word. It simply means that I have to see the word somewhere on that shirt. So you can draw and label. You can come up with a funny definition. You could come up with a funny saying that uses the words. Any of the above is fine. I just need to be able to see that you understand the words chromatography, mixture, compound, solution, solute, solvent, and solubility. Feel free to Google this for ideas. The back side of your T-shirt. You're going to come up with an original slogan. That is up to you. It can be 1 to 2 lines. It does need to use 2 of the terms from the word bank. So the word bank over here in yellow. Main topic is chromatography. And then the last thing you're going to do is summarize the front and the back. So it says 2 paragraphs. What I'm really asking you for is paragraph 1. Tell me, how does the front of your T-shirt demonstrate chromatography? Paragraph 2, how does the back side demonstrate chromatography? You are getting points for using your academic vocabulary. So make sure you are using those academic vocabulary words in your paragraph, and please box or highlight them. If you have any questions, feel free to go ahead and contact me on Remind, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. So I think that's about it for today, and I hope you guys have a great day.